once many times. Let me see. Okay. Hi everyone. Let me just get to the live chat and make sure that we are live. Jimmy's unpacking boxes behind me. I can't get it straight. I have a little housekeeping to talk about just real fast. Let me make sure that we're here. Okay. Hi, Gail. Hi, everyone. Let me just get to the... Let me stop this. All right. So apparently, who would have guessed it? Our stalkers are seemingly unhinged more than usual today and will not stop stalking and harassing us. Nobody is going to any of their profiles, channels, videos, platforms. No one is doing anything to them. They are coming here and leaving comment after comment, even though they've been told stop. They won't stop. So more than that, I feel like I just had something. They had tagged channel members, and any channel members they saw, they tagged them. So if you were tagged by someone called Destined Nation New York, she's been writing novels of false statements, false accusations, all kinds of crap, including that some of the stuff is so heinous about and involves our, at that time, minor children and still one minor child. It's all been documented. And this woman lives in the state of New York. And you can see in one of the posts I did put up the laws in the state of New York. So I will deal with that tomorrow. But now, this other woman whose channel was terminated on YouTube, who is what they call ban evading, using 2 other channels plus other alts, has been all day long in my comments, again, posting false statements, posting, we've asked her to stop. She will not stop. So I'm going to tell you that if you're getting tagged by these people, please, just give me 1 second. Please document it. Let me know what's going on, because anything like that, you can report that. You're being harassed. Okay, that's up to you. YouTube has ways you can report that. If you feel it's harassment what they're doing to you, you can report that. Mm-hmm. If
you know what they should do, hon? They should go to Heather. They should go to these people's channels and see what kind of people they are. All they do is post about us, mostly Carolyn. They just you know, they're nuts. That's all it is. Go to Heather, go to Hell to the No, and look and see what's on the channel. Most of it is Carolyn. It's all about Carolyn, like 118 videos. Most of it's like taken from her. Some of it's about our kids, and you know, it includes our kids, and they'll take a little thing, a little snippet of something, like, and then turn it into the most absurd, sickening thing that you can imagine. If you go back and look at the video that it came from, you see it has nothing to do with what they're saying. You know, they say some horrendous stuff. Carolyn's Cluster B won't stop. She's on TikTok. She's kicked off of YouTube. She just continues to go on. A lot of it's just nonsensical, you know.
Exactly. You don't want it. It's unwanted. So you can, you know.
I usually don't respond. I'm going to go to bed, but I usually don't respond to this stuff. But I am sick of it. It's so crazy that stuff around my house.
Please?
Good night, everybody. I love you all.
Okay, let me talk to Twisted. Twisted, if you don't want that and you don't want that woman tagging your name, you can ask her, don't tag my name. And if she continues to tag your name, then yeah, then that's unwanted stuff, and that's what YouTube gives you the tools to report. If someone's tagging you and you don't want that, it's a very easy thing to report. And when you tell someone, don't tag me in this, and they continue to tag you, that's harassment. So yeah, you can use YouTube's tools to do what you feel you want to do. You know, they are definitely not living drama-free, Twisted. We don't even discuss them.
Now we are.
And, well, we are
I'm
now.
going to continue to respond, try to out them and show people who they really are.
I don't discuss them.
Huh?
Jimmy, I'm trying to make a statement.
Honey.
Jimmy, I'm trying to make a statement. I don't discuss them.
I know we are now, though.
We are now because I'm addressing something.
Okay.
Because people are being tagged from here. And people like Twisted are new, and I'm trying to make them aware of what's going on. That's what I'm trying to tell them. That those of, you know, it's just anybody that knows what they're saying is completely false. They don't have any receipts to back up a thing they're saying. They're lying. They're making false accusations. They're defamatory. And they're attacking this channel, which is an LLC. They are tagging the members. So, yeah, there's ramifications. Okay. And, let's see. Hi, Denise. Hi, Jen. Linda. I have to make this a little bit bigger because I can't see this. Hang on. There's one. Okay. And there's no need to get involved in it, Twisted. You don't have to get involved in it. The only way to get involved in it is if you go and engage with it. And I don't think you want that. I don't think you want to engage with it, so there's no way to get involved in it. Hello, Christy. Hi, John Cuddy. Does it ever end for you, Carolyn? It's ridiculous. 7 years and counting, Johnny Cuddy. 7 years and counting. So yeah, it's ridiculous. So, but you know, it's what it is. That's in. All they're interested in is just trying to break up the community. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to target new members. They're trying to target new people. And they're trying to triangulate friends. They know that they stopped doing it with Scooter. Okay? Because I think they finally freaking saw that Scooter is not going anywhere. And Scooter and I are real life friends. They still do it with Evie. They still constantly try to do it with Evie. And that is so sick, okay? Because Evie and I have a very good friendship, a real friendship. We've met in person. We've gone away together. But they still constantly try to put little things. They do it to Linda. They're doing it to Jen. It's ridiculous. Denise, anyone, they will try to get them and say, oh my gosh, you know, don't become a member over there. Don't support the channel at all. Okay? It's this, it's that. She doesn't care about anybody. She doesn't, you know, anybody that knows me knows you're a liar. Okay? I care probably too much, if anything, not too little. And I give a lot of myself behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, all around. And so it's disgusting. It really is. But they want to keep doing it. and they want to keep writing this narrative of theirs, okay, while they're all done things behind the scenes that is incredible, and that we have proof of. But they keep saying, you reap what you sow. I'm not, of course, I live by that. And I'm happy of what I've sown. I think I've done a lot of good. I think I help a lot of people, and I think I always strive to be better every day. Okay? Are you happy with what you sow? Because what you're bringing over here is nothing good. And what you brought over here when some of you were here was nothing good. So, you know that. Who are you trying to fool? Hi, Bucky. So, yeah. So if you are getting tagged in that, just take it from where it comes. You know who it is. You have tools from YouTube to report if you would like. You're able to do that. So we're going to go and talk about, we've got our dentist couple has new updates today. And we have TikTok couple that tried to be the next Chuck and Joanna Gaines. We're going to have that. Johnny Cuddy says, yes, you have. And unfortunately, some have turned out to be crazy, meaning the people you cared about. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Is it why your time? It is why waste your time. You do a lot of good. It's been a while since I've been here and alive. Yeah, but Christy, I don't talk about it. Go back in all my lives. You'll see there's nothing. So, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Hi, Megan Els. Hi, Megan Els. I saw that. Stop it.
I want to say something.
Yeah, Christy, I'm glad you're back, and you'll see. You go through all of my videos. You go see the last time that any of this has even been addressed. It's because today they would not stay out of our comments. It was horrible. And yeah, but there's remedies, whatever they are. But we're gonna go on. So, did you have anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I do. So basically, I want to say something. If so when this all started, here's when it got really bad. Was when Heather was outed as being, because Hell to the No, they were just posting video after video. Go to that channel and look and see what they've done and when they started. And people were saying, oh, it's Heather, and she was saying, it's not me. You better stay in your own lane. She was like really threatening people, and she was just bold behind this anonymous Hell to the No channel that didn't even belong to her, I don't think. I think it belonged to somebody else, so that there's no way they can connect it to her. But one of her friends outed her, and ever since that happened, she just got bold and started, I'm sure she didn't want to be the one behind all that, so she just, pulled everybody together and, made a big thing of this. That's when she sued us. And sued us, think about it. How could they have won a case saying that Carolyn didn't? She sat here, out of 118 videos, she struck some twice. And they had about like our kids coming down the slide and all 6 seconds of, it took 6 seconds for us to come walking out of a slide one time. And that was the little clips she put together, Heather did. And that was one clip she struck. And I mean... you just misspoke. I didn't strike any twice. No, I didn't say you struck. Oh, that sounded like you did. Okay, I wanted to just clarify that. Okay, no. Anyway, and so, they it's using her content. And it was used YouTube's tools. The way it works, you use YouTube's tools to say this person is using our contact. You show them, you post the clip of the timestamp on the infringing video and infringe upon video, and if it matches, they take the video down. If the other person, which most people can just buck the system and say we want it back up, and unless we get an attorney, the video goes back up, which is what happened. There is nothing nefarious, nothing illegal, nothing about it all. Heather sued us, saying that when Carolyn struck the video, which was using our content, otherwise it would never went down, she did not consider fair use. That was the point of the trial. That is how they lost. That is, how could you tell what Carolyn was thinking when she struck the video? Please tell me that. Their attorneys had some, they had to think that we were going to settle. That's what they thought. They're bullies. If you know what we went through, going up to the trial for 2 years, it's ridiculous. The lawyer, I mean, it was bad, and what we had to deal with, and they would not settle for anything.
Please, let's not discuss.
Yeah, so it's not okay. So I don't want to talk about all that, but I will say that they wanted us to settle. That's the only way they could have won anything was if we settled. We didn't, and it was scary. It was horrible to go through. I know it was horrible for them too, for her anyway, and the people who put up all the money. But there's no way they could have proved that case. How are they going to prove what Carolyn was thinking when she entered a DMCA takedown notice? That's my problem.
It wasn't even only that. There's attorneys out there that wrote articles about our case, and they said the 512F, which is what she sued for, the F is for futility, because there has not been one person that has sued a content creator for their it's been futile. There's been no 512F.
There's willful
claims.
blindness in one. That was because
but they still didn't win. Right?
No, right? They just dropped, but that was because Prince said that
but don't make it too complicated for everybody.
I
you can read.
I was doing okay. So
but they can read read the article.
Anyway, so Heather's got to. She cannot lose. That's in her mind.
Oh,
she will not lose. She just doubles down and on everything. I mean, like I said, when she was outed, she didn't want to be behind held to the nose. So she just gathered everybody and started making up more stuff about Carolyn. They're taking little things out of context and making something out of it. There's no proof of anything that they've said we've done. Like I'm by her side. I usually stayed out of it because I don't want to. It's like the YouTube garbage dump is where they dwell at, And I usually have not said much, and because you're just down there with slimy pigs down there fooling around with them is what it's like. But recently, I'm just tired of it. They won't stop. They keep on. I just want to out them. I want them all. I want everybody to know who these people are and what they do. But you can't even tell who they are. They hide behind their alts.
Well, we know who the one.
Some of them we do. We know a few of them, and I'd like to just take all their posts.
Let's not do it here. Do it on Facebook or another forum.
I know. I'm just saying. So that's what I want you guys to know. That's what this is about. It's so crazy, and we keep dealing with it. I think like Heather summoned her coven because all of a sudden all this crap's coming out today out of nowhere. Like, why? I don't know. Why don't you guys just leave us the freak alone? That's all. We don't bother you. Right now I'm talking about you. Yeah, and I will. I'm Jim. Everybody knows who I am. Jim Cavarnas. I'm not like WX, whatever the hell you guys are. No way and all that stuff. I mean...
alts.
Yeah, alts. And, I stand behind what I say. I stand behind what I've done. Everything I've done got me where I am today. I wouldn't want to trade it for nothing. I've got my 2 wonderful kids, my beautiful wife. So, you guys cannot be happy who are doing this. But anyway, I just wanted to share with some of you, what's really been going on. And
they all jump on the bandwagon. I just want to say something about this woman, Pink, that comes up there, and Pink that had to go to the courthouse because she had to see me in person. And Pink and I have never, ever had any kind of a relationship. Not a friendship, not a view. I didn't watch her.
YouTube,
there
watch
was
the channel?
nothing.
Yeah, don't
Pink
say
is
her.
a full opportunist that only jumped on the bandwagon. Oh, we need to get a box of wine and relax, Powder Puff. Okay, we don't drink, but that's okay. So anyway, but Pink is a complete opportunist, and I will tell you something. Even someone else that I've had a long history, BBT, calls Pink an opportunist and tells her, you had no history with Carolyn at all. But boy, she saw dollar signs in jumping on and going at me. And she started doing it with Robbie, and then she started doing it with BBT. And then she started doing. They know who they are, Jimmy. Yes, they are.
But anyway,
and I just want. But
fun
there's one thing I want to say about Pink, please.
Everybody have fun. Good night,
And
I love you.
the reason I'm bringing her up today is because she was right on it again today. And Pink, you are so funny because you come on with no history and like to call me a scammer, and you like to call me all these names. Pink, where is the money that you took from a dying woman in Australia that you don't want anybody to talk about, right? You don't want anybody to talk about it, Pink. Okay. She doesn't want anybody to talk about that money. That woman's video is still up where she begged Pink to give that money back. That I think Pink ended up just taking to go to Hawaii. Isn't that what she did? But Pink is jumping on a bandwagon when she came to the court. Okay? There was a trial. That's a legitimate GoFundMe that raised not even, or what, 1/3 of the money that it cost to go to trial? Are you kidding me? And she's up there at any chance she can get to just get a little action on her channel. A little action. So, Pink, why don't you worry about being there and the money there, okay? Because I don't need you to worry about anything for me because everything is legit there. I have all my receipts. I have everything. And I told you, that GoFundMe covered, I don't even know if it's completely 1/3 of what the legal costs are. So, if research the federal court trial. I mean, these people are nuts. They really are. They're really nuts. But it's like craziness. Nobody's talking about you. Nobody wants to talk about you. I come on here every night and talk about other things. You can't get me off your mind. You can't. You can't get me off your mind. If you don't talk about me, you have nothing. So, but like I said, if you're being tagged in stuff, you don't want to be tagged in stuff, you know what to do. Okay? But that's it. And then tomorrow, destined, she lives about 2 hours from me. And her behavior is becoming more and more unhinged. And anybody that's seen it can tell that. So it's not okay. But let's go on now and get to our topics here. But I just want you to know that, and I just want to check one thing. Hold on one second, make sure I sent something that I had to send here. Okay. Yeah, this is what I want to hear. Okay. So let's talk about that dentist and his wife that were found dead in Ohio, and then they released that video they said yesterday, but it really wasn't much of a video, right? And allegedly there was a crying woman who reportedly called 911 from the house months before the murders for a domestic dispute. So Spencer and Monique TP, they were found dead inside their home December 20th, 2025. They had a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. Children in another room. They were unharmed physically, but family members, said he didn't, he didn't show up for work, which was very unlike him, and then they found them dead. So now on August 15th, 2025 at 2:45 a.m., an unnamed woman called from the couple's residence to report what the dispatcher described as a domestic dispute. The woman hung up and 911 called back, at which time that woman spoke with the dispatcher. And during the conversation, the woman was crying. She repeatedly apologized to the dispatcher. She assured them multiple times that she was okay. When pressed by the operator about why she was crying, the woman said she was just emotional and did not need police or paramedic assistance. She told the operator she initially called because me and my man got into it, but I'm okay, I promise. In a transcript that Fox News got of the 911 conversation, the woman said there had been an argument, but nothing physical occurred. The dispatcher told the caller that she'd cancel the officers and coded the call as a domestic dispute with assistance no longer needed. Now, on December 30th, 2025, Spencer and Monique were discovered dead at the same home with gunshot wounds. But police are saying they found no signs of forced entry, no firearms at the scene. Spencer was shot multiple times while Monique sustained at least one gunshot wound to the chest. Now, if this had been a murder-suicide, they would have found the firearm. But it's not been classified as that. So they have the person of interest that they showed. It was really not great. I mean, it just looked like you couldn't even see the person's skin color. I showed it last night. It was ridiculous. The official causes of death are still pending further assessments, including toxicology reports. And let's see here. The alleged person of interest is wearing a dark hooded sweatshirt or a jacket, lighter colored pants. They look kind of light colored jeans with their hands in their pockets, and their face was obscured. So what good is it really? Not too much. And this could have zero to do with the murders, but just very, very sad, because there's 2 kids left with no parents, and 1 and 4, and it's not good. Okay, now, hi Linda Uribe, how are you? Let me see here. What did Linda Uribe say? Linda Uribe said, what got me was people that were here become a small hate channel with people you had helped. I know, Linda, but what are you going to do about that kind of stuff, right? I've helped a lot of people who have turned around and stabbed me and other people in this community in the back. I have helped them, genuinely helped them, to where they wouldn't even be able to do what they're doing now. Like, we taught them all those skills to do that and did so lovingly, took them under my wing, kind of help them. And you get stabbed in the back. It's enough that it makes you think, like, okay, well, maybe I'm not going to do that anymore. But then that's not fair to other people, right? So, because it's I don't know. It's disillusioning. It really is, because you think, like, even if somebody says, well, I don't like that, they would think, well, oh, wait a minute. Well, Carolyn did help me with that, or she did do this, and she did help me this way, and she did do that. That, it's just a little. But they have to be accountable for themselves one day. They have to live with themselves, and that's it. But I don't want it to make me into a person that's not going to help other people because of what other people did to me. It's not good. I don't want to do that. It's kind of like help them anyway. Even if they're gonna. Yeah. It's just, does it make me more cautious? Yeah. Does it make me, look at some red flags a little more? Yeah. But I don't want to become bitter or not help people or just close myself off because of what people have done to me after I've helped them. And, I don't want to be like that. Anyway, so that's the dentist and the wife. And next we're going to talk about Uvalde. I watched the trial today. They're talking about the police officer, Adrian Gonzalez, the school, I think it was the resource officer, who took 4 minutes before he went anywhere where the shooter was, and then he radioed instead of going after the shooter when the teacher had told him where the shooter was. And so he is, I believe it's 29 counts that he was on trial for. And some people lied about their need for money, asking the catastrophic things. Oh, yeah. Some people that have also reaped the benefits of getting a lot of help from Ramblers here, and then turn around and just horrible. Yeah. I don't know. I just still truly believe that you got to just keep doing the right things. God's got a plan for whatever reason. Hi, Frilly. I didn't even see Frilly. Okay, so next, what are we going to talk about? Uvalde. But there was a dramatic twist in the Uvalde trial today. So they're not even going to have anything tomorrow because of it. So I don't know how many of you watched it, but I'll tell you what's going on here. So this officer is on because he failed to act, is what the prosecutors say. He is the school police officer, Adrian Gonzalez. He was alerted to the gunman's location before the gunman entered Robb Elementary School, but he failed to act. And prosecutors argued that during their opening statements today. He is charged with 29 counts of child endangerment. It's alleged he neglected his duty and training during the chaotic response to the 2022 school shooting, which left 19 children and 2 teachers dead. The case marks the second time in U.S. history that prosecutors have sought to hold a member of law enforcement criminally accountable for their response to a mass shooting. Now, Gonzalez's legal team maintains that he's been made the scapegoat. Prosecutor Bill Turner, he was very emotional, on the verge of tears at the start of his opening statements. His statements marked the first time prosecutors have provided the rationale for charging Gonzalez, and they disclosed that a teacher came face to face with the shooter before the shooter entered the school, and the teacher told Gonzalez. So here's what he said, and I quote, "She's face to face with the gunman, and he fires on her, and she turns to run, and when she turns to run, she trips and she falls. And when she gets up, Adrian Gonzalez, the police officer, is there. She says, 'He's over there.' She urges him to go get him, but he gets on the radio and says, 'Shots are fired. He's wearing black. He's in the parking lot.' He knows where he is, but Adrian Gonzalez remains at the south side of the school." And then Turner walks the jury through the minutes that follow, the very tragic minutes that follow, describing the number of gunshots that were fired as Gonzalez waits outside. And Turner hammered home the point that Gonzalez allegedly stayed where he was rather than trying to stop the shooting. Now, Gonzalez's attorney, Nico LaHood, told the jury that pure evil visited Uvalde on May 24th of 2022, but said that convicting Gonzalez will not deliver justice. LaHood argued that Gonzalez did everything he could in that moment, including that he was gathering critical information, evacuating children, and entering the school, and said that Gonzalez acted on the information that he had. LaHood and his partner Jason Goss delivered a lengthy opening that used a map. And this opening, it lost a lot of the people. I was watching the people in the chat. You know, I don't know whether I was on Court TV or Law and Crime. I think it was Law and Crime. But the people were getting lost in there. You always have a certain number of people that don't even understand a court case that are in there that are just nothing but annoying. But then certain other people, they're like, he just lost me. Because it was like, the prosecution was very gripping, and then not so much the defense, okay? But they tried to provide the jury with a minute-by-minute view of Gonzalez's actions, and said the government wants to make it seem like he just sat there, you know? He didn't just sit there. He did what he could with what he knew at the time. He also called out the prosecution for planning to show the jury the autopsy photos. The judge has preliminarily allowed prosecutors to show those images, but reserves the right to hold photos from entering evidence. And he said, they're going to really want you to focus on these photos. And I wish they wouldn't. Not because it hurts us, because it hurts those precious people over there, he said, pointing to some of the families that were in the gallery. Then the first witness for the prosecution was Gilbert Limones, an employee of the funeral home near the elementary school, who testified about the panic he experienced when he realized a man was firing towards the students. And said, I saw him walking towards the south end of the building, and then started at every window and just randomly would just get the gun and shoot inside the windows. In between his testimony, prosecutors played portions of Limones' frantic 911 call, saying, he is just about to shoot them. He is shooting at the people, and just crying out to God and everything. It was very frantic, right, and very emotional. He described seeing a car crash, trying to aid the driver, but as he approached, the driver began shooting at him. He told jurors that the gunman walked towards the school very nonchalantly just moments before he started shooting at students on a playground. He said he witnessed a white car driven by Gonzalez drive past Ramos. Now, Gonzalez is the one that's on trial. Ramos is the shooter. Missing an opportunity to take out the gunman. And then, what happened, the prosecutor asked. And then the witness said, and then I just remember him going to the classrooms and he started shooting window by window until he got to the door where he walked in. Limones acknowledged on cross that other officers missed similar chances to respond in the first few minutes of the shooting. LaHood, the defense attorney, asked him, you saw on the video that at some point in time those 3 officers did not follow Adrian on the campus. They drove away. Correct. And you saw in that video they showed up not long after Adrian drove really fast towards the school? Correct, Limones said. Despite nearly 400 officers responding to the shooting, law enforcement took 77 minutes to mount a counter-assault to kill Ramos. Gonzalez is one of only 2 officers charged in the case, along with the former Uvalde school police chief, Pete Arredondo. Let's see. The judge seated a full jury after an emotionally fraught selection process on Monday. Dozens of potential jurors voiced frustration with the police response. More than 100 were excused by their own, they excused themselves from the process, saying they didn't believe they could be fair or impartial. Let's see. They were only protecting themselves more than they were protecting the children, one dismissed juror told the court, as others cheered and clapped in agreement. I would have sacrificed myself to save them, but they didn't. They just sat there. Gonzalez has pleaded not guilty. His lawyers argue that he is being blamed for the broader law enforcement failure. And during jury selection, some voiced frustration that more officers have not been charged in the years following the tragedy. Gonzalez was charged last year, along with Arredondo, the on-site commander on the day of the shooting. Arredondo's trial has been indefinitely postponed due to a pending civil suit after members of an elite tactical unit with the U.S. Border Patrol refused to speak with prosecutors about their involvement that day. Now, I want to go to the issue now. Okay. So, testimony from a teacher in the trial revealed new details that had not surfaced in earlier interviews, which prompted an immediate objection from defense attorneys and an abrupt halt to the proceedings for the day. Stephanie Hale, a teacher, took the stand on Tuesday, placed the shooter at the same part of the school as Gonzalez. That's the officer, again, who's on trial. The jury had been dismissed until Thursday as a motion argument takes place to consider this new development. The judge is going to hear the motion arguments tomorrow, which could lead to a mistrial. So we'll have to see what happens. Victims' families are concerned that this could hurt the prosecution's case against Gonzalez. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But this teacher put out this information that they didn't get before. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, whether it's going to be, could be declared a mistrial. I don't know. We have to see what happens there. And then we're going to go to the third story in just a second here, which is going to be our TikTok Chip and Joanna Gaines. But I want to see what's going on here in the chat. Hi, Ellie Mae. How are you? Linda Uribe says those were the worst police ever. They could have saved lives. Instead, they stood by doing nothing. As my husband did SWAT and as a police officer. Right, yeah. Absolutely. But there were more, so I wonder why just two, because there were a lot of problems, right? With more than just two officers in the Arredondo. I've been following the dentist case, but this is the first I've heard about the 911 call. Yeah, it could be involved, but it could not. Maybe it just was something that happened in April, but they just wanted to, I guess, put it out there because everybody will ask about, like any kind of an issue like this, were there any calls? Were there any DV calls or any kinds of calls? They always check that stuff. So I guess they want to get that out there, but it probably has not much to do with this because it wasn't a murder-suicide, you know. I don't know. So let's see. Megan L says, if I remember correctly, Border Patrol were the first inside the school. I remember things being a big mess and a bunch of people standing in the hallway. Do you remember when we were hearing? I remember there were recordings and things put out there, right? Where they were standing in the hallway. But that was way more than two. It was like a lot of officers in the hallway, as I remember it. That's what I remember. And wasn't there also the guy in the Parkland shooting in Florida? Didn't he run the other way? Remember that? And I'm trying to remember what happened to him. Did they take him to a trial? Or did he plead something? I don't know. They were ordered by the police chief to stand by. Okay, maybe that's what I'm remembering. It's a shame, I mean, people were saying, oh, well, I don't know what I would do and I'm not good in an emergency. And somebody said that to me and I said, but we're not trained to be in that, right? If that's your job and you're trained in active shooter situations, yeah, you're not going to know until you're there, but your training should show you that. You're not talking about the classroom mom or something running, right? Or being cautious or whatever. You're talking about officers that had training to do this, to protect the kids. Like in that teacher that was getting the kids in, they were saying she was staring the shooter right in the face. She, didn't stop until she got every kid inside and then turned to run, tripped, fell, and then told him, he's right there, go get him. So I don't know. It's sad situation. I mean, everybody can always second guess what could have been done. It's not that it's not going to bring the kids back. It's painful. To think about, because nobody wants to be in that situation, but you don't want to be in that situation and know that the right things weren't done that would have protected or could have protected your children. You don't know that that would have saved your child, but to just know that the right things weren't done is not good. But we'll see what happens tomorrow, whether this turns into a mistrial or they find a resolution. But now we're going to talk about this TikTok scam. Now, do you guys know this is also of Texas, right? Chip and Joanna Gaines are from Texas. And Chip and Joanna Gaines, have that show on where they take homes and they fix them up, and then they have that Magnolia business and stuff. And well, there's a TikTok couple also in Texas, and I guess they considered themselves the next Chip and Joanna Gaines, and they had I think 4 dozen couples, people involved in this, and it's like $5.4 million. You know about this, Megan Els? What is she say? I think there are 2 types of people: ones who run towards and ones who run away. When we are taught, we're little about a fire, stop, drop, and roll, but some still panic. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, but we're like not trained for that. If we were in the police force and training and taking an oath that's what we're going to do is protect people, and then we're running from it, there's a problem. It probably should not be in that field. But we're not talking about, Susie Homemaker running from a gunman, okay? You're talking about trained professionals, and someone could say, oh, well, he was never in a situation like that, and he got freaked out, and but it's not the way it's supposed to be, right? It's not what you want, right? You'd freak out, okay? It's like if your doctor freaks out when someone starts hemorrhaging during surgery, like going like, oh my gosh, I can't look at all that blood, right? That's scary, okay? Maybe he's never seen, the surgeon has never seen that in action. They've dealt with cadavers in med school, whatever. But he's got to know that he's probably going to see something like that along the line, and you're not going to want your surgeon to freak. The same kind of thing with an officer. Like, I know my daughter, just as someone in their office, they had a plan for active shooter incidents and what they would do as executives in the office and who would be in charge, and you have to close this door and you have to do that. And they would do the drills and stuff. So she was like the one in charge, which I can't even believe, but she was like the one in charge of this on their floor, whatever, it was. So, and they would go through this, so she knows what to be expected. Now, okay, she's real good like that in the drill. Does that mean that, God forbid, it was a real thing? Is there a chance she could do a Cindy Brady, and even though you're prepared, you're like a deer in the headlights? Sure. But again, she's not a police officer, you know what I'm saying? So you would expect more than that, much more than that. And you wouldn't want to find out that someone there to protect your kids didn't do the right things to protect them, right? So, but back to these Chip and Joanna people, wannabes, I guess, this home building scheme. Okay, let's see here. So that they have pled guilty to nearly $5 million home building scheme here. And again, they are Chris and Raquel Judge. Let me put this here. Hold on, I'm just trying to get their picture up here. It's being a little crazy. The guy reminds me of somebody, and I don't know whether it's somebody I know in real life. I feel like I know his voice and everything. Hold on. Come on, get over there. What is with this? Go over there. I don't know. I just feel like I know this guy. And I feel like I know his voice. I don't know why. I feel like I kind of know her a little bit there too. But anyway, that is Chris and Raquel Judge. Christopher, to be precise. They've pled guilty to conning dozens of clients, I believe there's 4 dozen, of nearly $5 million in a home building scheme. Federal prosecutors alleged in a December 31st press release, let's see if we can pull that up. Okay, from the Department of Justice. So let me pull this over here. This is their press release right here. Come on now, you get over there. Okay. Right here. Fort Worth business owner who received nearly $5 million from local customers for unfinished custom home building and remodeling projects pled guilty to a wire fraud conspiracy charge yesterday, announced United States Attorney for the Northern District of Texas, Ryan Raybould. Court records reflect that Christopher Judge and his wife Raquel Judge, both of Fort Worth, Texas, were managing members of Judge DFW LLC, a Texas limited liability company. Each defendant admitted that from approximately August of 2020 to January of 2023, through Judge DFW, they conspired to defraud customers by purporting to offer custom architecture, construction, and interior design decor services that they never completed. They also falsely represented that Christopher Judge was an architect. As part of the fraud scheme, victims received below-market bids from Judge DFW and executed design and build contracts for the work. The defendants then started construction projects and accepted multiple installment payments from victims, but never completed those projects, often leaving the victims without a completed residence. Plea documents reflect that the defendants defrauded over 40 victims where did we go here? Residing in 6 Northern District of Texas counties, involving at least 24 different construction projects. Court records also show the defendants commingled the victims' installment payments in the primary judge DFW operating account, frequently using individual victim installment payments for unrelated construction projects. The alleged loss amount totaled approximately $4.8 million. Yesterday, Christopher Judge pled guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud and faces up to 20 years in federal prison. Raquel Judge pled guilty on December 17th to 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. That subjects her to a maximum of 5 years. They also face monetary penalties, restitution, and terms of supervised release. Sentencing for Raquel is scheduled for April 14th of 2026. Sentencing for Christopher Judge is scheduled for May 12th of 2026. Both sentencing hearings will occur before the United States District Judge Terry R. Means. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, Fort Worth Resident Agency, and the U.S. Police Department conducted the investigation with the assistance of the U.S. Secret Service Task Force, Assistant U.S. Attorneys Mark McDonald and Laura Montes prosecuted the case. Now, let's go to... So, are you understanding what they did? They gave bids, I guess, to people that were really low. They go, oh, wow, look at this. This is crazy. And then offered to complete entire projects, homes, or whatever it was. And then they never delivered on any of it. Worse yet, they started to take installment payments from these people and then use that for different projects. Yeah, I had a plumber that once did that when we were building this house way back in the day. A guy that we knew, and once he used the money I gave him to pay for plumbing fixtures on another project. When I went to find out about that, then I went and paid for the fixtures. Like, I never gave him the money again to do that. But that was somebody I knew, and I ate that and just kind of just knew the way I had to handle that. But they were like moving this all around, using other people's money for other projects, and just didn't had bit off way more than they could chew, and probably could not get anything built for the prices that they quoted them. And who knows what they were doing? Were they saying that they ran into issues and now it has to be more and all of that? But apparently they were on TikTok doing that. And hi, Ellie Mae. Carolyn, I just want to tell you, I like the shorts you've been putting up out of inspiration and hope on the beach is beautiful. Thank you, Ellie Mae. I know I've been getting a lot of positive feedback on them, and I enjoy doing them and making them. We had a bit of infiltration from some not so nice people in 2 of them today, but we're not going to let that rain on our parade there, right? We're going to keep doing the good things. Okay, but let me just go on. I want to go a little bit more about these people, because I saw a lot about this. Okay, so let's hear about some of the people that found themselves in this nightmare, right? Okay, so Where is my... There's the couple. So one of the victims, Kaylee Simmons, remembers thinking she had just met Chip and Joanna Gaines when she met the judges in 2021. She and her parents were looking to update their home, and they were drawn in by promises of custom designs, renovations, and a dream home. She said she believed every bit of that. I wanted that for them. According to Simmons, the couple presented plans for her home that matched their exact vision. Low bids, that's the key, fast turnaround times, and the claim that Christopher Judge was a licensed architect made the offer seem too good to be true, and it was. Problems everywhere, she said. See, backsplash right there? It is supposed to go all the way up to the ceiling. She pointed out unfinished work inside her useless home. She noticed uneven floors, windows that weren't square, and soon learned that he didn't have an architect's license. Investigators say the judge's scheme targeted about 40 victims across North Texas, collecting cash with no intent to complete the work. So they actually, it wasn't that these people thought, okay, well, let's see if we could. They had no intent to do this. So it wasn't that something got out of control and they couldn't reel it back in, right? They didn't have an intent. This was all. So where did they think this was going to go? Like, what was the outcome for this? That's what I have a hard time believing, that this was their intent. Because, come on now. If it's your son or something, or your friend, and they tell you, yeah, we're going to just get all this, and then we're not going to do any of the work. What? So, that's something that I don't agree with that state. I kind of think that maybe they thought they were going to do this, and they thought they'd get away with, I don't know who drew the plans up. Did he just buy plans for different houses? Who knows? Or have someone do them for, I don't know what the plans. But did they just quote them crazy things and say, okay, well then we'll just tell them that other things came up and this is going to cost more? I just can't imagine, there's no possible good outcome to collect the cash and not intend to complete the work. Something, I don't think that's the full story. I really don't. The homeowner says she was brokenhearted because that's too many. People should not have to file bankruptcy because of people like this, says Simmons' mom. For some, the losses were devastating. Kristen Newman, who's 36, was trying to build her first home when she ended up spending about $450,000 trying to repair unfinished work. She's now living with her parents while selling the home. Financially, it's been draining. Court records show that nearly $4.8 million was paid across at least 24 projects. Prosecutors said the money did not go towards the homes, but instead funded personal expenses, including luxury items and plastic surgery. What? Oh my gosh. It made me so angry to know that I paid them. I trusted them to build a home, and they were paying for plastic surgeries and Amazon. Victims said they're still left with questions about their money, their homes, and why they were targeted. I asked if they really thought they could get away with this. I'm just glad they're getting what they're due. Christopher Judge pled guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud and faces 20 years. His wife pled guilty, and she faces a maximum of 5 years. But there's got to be, her face looks a little bit I don't know whether she had some plastic surgery, but something looks. Did she have her eyes done or something? Like something looks a little. I don't know. But I just cannot imagine that. Either like that's what I mean when two people sit around and think like that's going to be a good thing. Like, and what were they doing on TikTok? What the heck were they doing on TikTok with this? Were they showing the buildings on TikTok? I'm so confused. Did anybody watch these people when they were on TikTok? Or were they just soliciting that they'll build up? Were they advertising their business on TikTok? What the heck were they doing on TikTok? Hold on, let me see if I can find out. Okay, let's see. I don't know, but what were they doing on TikTok? Let me see. Let me go back to the chat and see if any of you know anything about this, because it just doesn't seem like it would be working out, right? Okay. Let me go back over here. As a police officer would have been in there right away. Yeah, Linda, right? Absolutely. Okay. Frilly's on TikTok a lot. I wonder if she knows who they are. Who do you think they are? Hi, Sassy Darcy. You don't do TikTok, Ellie Mae, so you have no idea. I don't know. Let me do some more digging here, because it just doesn't seem. So they were the judges, right? Chris and Raquel Judge, TikTok channel. Okay. Clients, okay. So, but what were they doing on TikTok? Okay, so here's something. Hang on. Their handles on TikTok was at Raquel Judge on TikTok and at raqueljudge.realtor on Instagram. So she was a realtor as well, right? Is that what I'm understanding here? Unless she was pretending to be a realtor. Let me see where that brings me. Let's see here. Hold on, I have to answer an email. I'm going to be right there. Okay, sorry about that. So now let me go back to their handle here. Her handle, Raquel. Why is it? This is not. Let me see. I guess is her site down. Her site's probably down, right? Let me try it like this. Nope, I need my @ symbol. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, so I'm not gonna. I won't. Raquel. All right, let's see what we get here. It's not doing anything with the handle. So, all right, here's something. Okay, let's take a look at this. Here's some more information. All right. They sold themselves as a Chip and Joanna Gaines style home building couple, but they secretly scammed customers out of millions by taking payments to build dream houses they never planned to finish. Still can't believe that's like the thing. He's 35, she's 36. So they used some of that money, which included $96,000 to build their luxurious $613,000 home. They used $65,000 on legal fees. They used $38,000 on rent and mortgage payments, and $10,000 on unspecified surgery procedures, according to the prosecutors. They also used the fraudulent funds to pay for Amazon purchases, personal credit cards, tuition fees, and luxury items. An indictment filed on September 3rd in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Texas detailed how the married couple stole millions of dollars. The judges offered architecture, construction, and interior design services online under a company called Judge DFW. Christopher falsely advertised his services as an architect on social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Once a potential customer got in touch to build or remodel a home, Christopher would submit a below-market bid for the project and promise that it would be completed within 4 to 6 months. Now, I will tell you, there are a lot, there's contractors that'll tell you something, and that's why they say, like, don't just go for the low ball and this and that and see what's going to be done. Usually nothing is ever finished on time. There's usually always things that come up. So, that part of it, but I wonder how much lower he was. And really, did he really have no intention to do this? Like, I don't get it. After securing a client, the judges asked for money to be transferred to a business bank account, only for the husband and wife to move the funds into other accounts for their own expenses. The judges never intended to finish the custom home projects. That's what I just don't understand. They never intended to. Where did they think this was going to end? That's what I just want to ask them that. Instead, they would do partial work to induce the victims to keep making payments, effectively funding their luxury lifestyle. So they thought this would drag on for years and years and they'd never finish a home. but still have the client? The couple would hire subcontractors of a substandard quality to perform minimal reforms and then not pay them. If customers raised concerns about the delays in construction, the judges would make excuses to ensure that the money kept coming in. The end result was that the customers were often left without a completed residence to live in. At least 24 construction projects, none of which were ever completed, were used to carry out the scam. 24 construction, none of which were, oh wow. Okay. One use of the funds was for their own home. The judges live in a $613,000 home in Keller, Texas. Customers were assured that problems and delays in construction would be corrected and the project would be completed on time if they continued to make their installment payments. The indictment showed how the husband and wife received thousands of dollars, adding up to millions, from unsuspecting homeowners in Texas. One individual made 13 payments for a total of $263,240. Federal prosecutors showed. Another person paid $436,000 over 12 installments for a project in Decatur. As the judges ran their custom home project scam, questions were raised about Christopher's purported background as an architect, realtor, and builder. May 2022, the Texas Board of Architecture got involved by issuing him a formal warning for misrepresenting his profession. However, that did little to deter the judges, who continued falsely advertising and enriching themselves until January of 2023. That just sounds like crazy. What were they planning to run away like to Mexico or something? I mean, that just sounds crazy. Hi, Heart. That sounds crazy. I don't get it. You can't be bothered with TikTok? Okay, so let me see. So that's, yeah, I don't know where they were going with that. That sounds like craziness. I forgot to put my clips in. My hair is like going crazy. Hi, Gail. But, yeah, where was that going to go, though? Like, that's nuts. Really is. And who in their right mind would pay that much ahead if they weren't completing the work? Right? Crooks never foresee getting caught. How, Linda? That's crazy. I can understand people biting off more than they like. I could understand if these people thought, okay, well, we'll go in with a really low bid, we'll get the job, and then we'll hire people with the lowest price or whatever, and we'll try to do this and have all these like delusions of grandeur going in there. Get in there and realize the materials cost more, the labor costs more, all of this costs more, and then be in over their head, okay? And then at that point have to say, look, we can't do it for that price anymore, I'm sorry. But that's not what happened here. I don't know, it's just it's weird because anybody in a project knows it always is going to cost more. There's always going to be an issue, right? Oh my gosh, we didn't notice the floor is like this, and now we need to add this, and you know, it's always stuff like that. Kansas City lights. Okay. You tell me that you and your wife didn't used to go over to Save Robbie at the time that Save Robbie was attacking me? Are you really telling me that that's totally didn't happen, right? I have a very good memory. Are you really going to tell me that, Kansas City Lights? Because, yeah, you used to come here a long time ago, and then you went over there, and then you were saying things that were not nice. Not nice. It didn't happen? You didn't go over there and say things, huh? I bet you if I dug really deep, I could find the screenshots. But well, that's what I'm talking about, a long time. I'm talking about a very long time. I'm talking about way before he was arrested. I'm talking about way, way, way before that. I'm talking about the time of him and Truthy Magoo. You know, the guy that faked his own death? Okay. All right, I'll. You want to call in? You never heard that name? Okay, if you've seen the light, I don't know what to tell you. I know that in the past you were here, and I know you definitely were over there. And if it wasn't you, then it's somebody that has the exact same name as you. And I'm talking about, we're talking 2019. But anyway, I mean, what is it about? Because I haven't seen you in, like I said, in one of my chats probably since 2018, 2019. I'm just wondering. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's why I'm consistently growing there, whatever you are. I can't even read your name. That's why I've been consistently growing. Let's see, where's your channel? You want to give me advice? Give me advice when you have something more than I have, because I don't take advice from people that I don't want to be like. And I love when channels that don't have any subscribers or anything want to come here and tell me how I should be running my channel. I think I know how to run it. And if I do want to learn things, I have people to learn them from. But not from people that don't have a channel, or they 1,000 people. Come on. So, let's see. Where am I thing here? What is it that you want to discuss, though, Candace? Listen, listen. I am willing to just put it beside me, but I'm telling you, the person that said stuff, okay? But if you're saying it wasn't you, listen, I give a lot of second chances. It's fine. If you don't want to come and cause me trouble, that's fine. It's fine. Let's see. It's fine if you're here for the content and you're here to. I mean, you've been gone a lot. Like, where have you been all this time? Did you guys take a hiatus, or what happened? Because it's been a long, long time. It's been a long time. You mentioned my wife. I can remember that you guys were a couple, right? You and your wife. That's the Kansas City Lights that I remember. If it's the wrong Kansas City Lights, it's very possible with Kansas City Lights you could be someone else. But I think I remember you and your wife were a couple together. We retired, both of us. She's a retired attorney. Wonderful. Yeah, I don't grovel, SG. And again, I don't take advice on how to grow my channel from somebody that doesn't even have one, okay? So you're wasting your typing. You're wasting your typing. You live in Missouri and Texas. Great. Great. But no, you have to understand what's going on. And I don't know when you guys got off YouTube. And Linda says past behavior predicts future behavior. So whether, you know. Hold on one second, because I'll tell you something. You know what? I never, ever... Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing that you really, under that name, were interacting a lot with the channel, unless your name has changed, but I thought it was Kansas City Lights. It's the integrity of what? I don't know, John Cuddy. I don't know if I would go, well, I don't know if I would go that far, because where you say you've never ever said anything or that name, because I specifically remember something and saying that, like, I used to like her, but then something about that. So, but what is it? Like, I mean, you're back. I mean, it's not like that you and I ever had any kind of real really. I remember a lot of things, and I remember people, just like I know Johnny Cuddy. Johnny Cuddy can maybe not come around here for a year, but when Johnny Cuddy comes back, I know Johnny Cuddy's not here for anything that. But I don't know what you like. You've been very skeptical when you came in. You said like some unkind things, right? To try to get at me a little bit or poke me, and yeah. Oh boy. SG, come back when you have some subscribers, close to 50,000. Okay. I have been here. I just didn't comment much for the channels that I listened to. Okay, so then what spurred you to comment? Because when you came in the other night, you said you hadn't been around. Okay. I don't know. Kansas City, if you want to stay here with us, that's fine. I don't know. Hold on a second. I have something weird. What is this? Okay. Okay, then I'm willing to say it's just a misunderstanding. You're welcome to stay here. It's fine. And here's Darla Darling. Hi, Darla Darling. How are you? Haven't seen you for a while. How you doing? You have a good New Year? What about you, Kansas City? Did you have a good New Year? That was from Kansas City that passed. Yeah, Random Guy Jeff, right? Random Guy Jeff. Random Guy Jeff passed a few years ago, and you were going to go meet him and look at the plaza lights. Was it Random Guy Jeff? It had to be Random Guy Jeff, right? Hi, Rosalita. Random Guy Jeff, yeah. You had time to finally watch part of the Uvalde case. My daughter is a teacher, and I have great concerns for all of our kids, including mine, who's in a school too. Yeah, it's scary times, Darla. Yes, that was him. Yeah, unfortunately, Jeff just went into the hospital. He was experiencing a lot of pain. He wasn't sure what it was, and then he spoke to me right before he passed. And he called me up and he said, Carolyn, they have pineapple jello here and it's really good. And the doctors had told him that he had this, but he said, you know what? You know me. I'm gonna beat this, and I'm going to be on this show telling my story. And I said, I know you are. And he sounded good. He sounded like he was, and then we lost him right after that. That was the last time I ever spoke to him. And he told me, I'll be there on the show, and we'll be laughing about this. Yeah. New Year's is your daughter's birthday, and she came down south. Great. And you went to the melting pot. Oh, yeah, I've heard about the melting pot. And to the river for beautiful fireworks. It was good. Great. New Year's has been good. You've been in Texas for your first Christmas with all the grandkids. That's wonderful. Glad to hear it. We had a nice New Year's too. We had my cousin here from Italy, and then on the 3rd we went into the city, and boy, did we have a fun-filled day and a lot of firsts, and it was really, really nice. And tomorrow my cousin goes back to Italy, and she's been here for 2 months, and it's been too soon, but we'll see him again by next year for the wedding, and then which I'm hoping will be in Italy, but we'll see how that goes. I've heard about the melting pot. I think there was one around here somewhere. I said, what is that, a fondue place? But it's not fondue. What is it again? The melting pot. It's not fondue, is it? Because they were coming back with fondue places, which, I don't know. Like, I think everybody's parents had a fondue set that was like tucked up in the cabinet over your oven growing up, and that was never used, but that you saw in like these old Betty Crocker cookbooks or something that your mom had about these people in the 70s that had this yellow shag carpet and those things, remember? And they were all having fondue. Nobody, it is fondue, Heartmade wise? Okay, so they did bring it back. But is it really, I don't think that they've really come back at the home fondue, right? You know what I'm talking about? The 70s, they have that little yellow thing, and then I forget what cookbook. I can still see the picture in my head, like this striped wallpaper and this yellow carpeting, and then this like gold colored fondue pot, and these people dressed in striped bell bottoms and suede vests with fringe, all sitting around. I still can see that that cookbook. Your youngest granddaughter got to see the ocean for the first time. Well, that's good. You live in San Padre Island right by the Gulf of America. Oh, got it. Gulf of America is now what they call it. They don't call it the Gulf of Mexico anymore. I missed that memo. Michael and Gia, Darla. An orange fondue. Yeah, I think, if I remember, it was either gold or yellow. She loved every minute of Christmas in Texas, but Christmas will never be the same as when I was a kid. Well, a lot of people say that was their Christmas, like when they were a kid. That, I don't know. Somebody just said that to me, or I heard somebody saying that this year. Cheese and fruits and sweets, yeah. To be honest, to tell you, I've not done fondue ever. I don't think I have ever done fondue in my life. Maybe, I'm trying to think my sister-in-law did it one time with us. I don't think so. It's just after 5 and your grandchild free now? That's wonderful. Isn't this nice? Everybody's having a good time. You do not love fondue. You have cookbooks from do you know which pictures I'm talking about, Linda? You probably do, right? My mother had them. I can see them right on the shelf. And you know what? There was something comforting about those cookbooks. I don't know, like even you take them down, just see the people that like they had a lot of books about the people. It was more about like doing the entertaining, right? The actual entertaining itself. And they would show these couples in like these city apartments, dressed all in 70s attire, 60s attire going there. And there was something really comforting just by looking at those cookbooks. I looked at those cookbooks a lot when I was a kid. I don't know. And there was this one that would have this whole thing on beverages. And then they were in these, I don't know. Had an avocado fondue pot. And I do remember we used it at a gathering. See, I remember it being tucked up over the oven in the house in New Jersey. That's what I remember. And I just not doing anything. I think I remember a sister-in-law wanting to do something with fondue or saying something about fondue, and then I don't know if we did it. Aha. So when you were a kid, it wasn't, like some people go for the nostalgia, Kansas City Lights, like if you watch, what's fun to watch? The old Sears catalog kind of Christmases, where they have some of those on YouTube, like it's really vintage Christmases. You remember that? Like we didn't have the internet. We didn't have that. You got the Sears catalog, right? You got the Sears catalog. Some people might got Montgomery Ward. Sometimes you had consumers distributing if you had one of those, or service merchandise. But most everybody had the wish book from Sears. And then then you would get that smaller wish book from Toys R Us. Remember that one? And it would be crazy because you would see toys that you never saw in the store. And a lot of times they would come into the catalog store, right? They weren't carried in the store. You'd go to the Sears catalog stores. And your mother or father would order the thing and you'd get it. And you'd see a lot of things. You'd circle stuff in the catalog. And you have an avocado green fondue pot. But I thought they kind of were bringing, so the melting pot, that's what I said, it's a melting pot, was the fondue. And then I thought somebody told me, no, it's not, or something. But it is. And it's quite pricey, you say, Darla? It's a pricey excursion? Is it like a hibachi where you have a bunch of people around, or is it just your family is at a table? kids are grown, so I don't need to have a magical event until I have a grandbaby. Oh wait, I thought you said you didn't you just say your granddaughter saw the ocean for the first time? Maybe I missed that. I thought you did have a grandbaby, Darla. Oh, that's Kansas City that said that. Sorry, I got confused because Kansas City put Darla. My youngest granddaughter got to see the ocean, so I was reading it, Darla saying it, and that's where I got confused. I'm sorry about that. That's Kansas's. I was thinking, like, okay, um, maybe I should give fondue a try at home. Maybe. Just your family heart sits by there? You'd go to Sears Wish Book for seeing what you wanted for Christmas. Ah, I remember that I would always check out the dolls immediately, and there would always be dolls that you never saw before. I remember one of them was Melody, and got her. I remember she had a little white sweater with stripes. Yes, Carolyn. My mother had a few colors of shag carpet: green, the gold. The 70s were absolutely the best time living at clothes, music, everything. Yeah, and we didn't have like the internet to go. Do you ever go back and think about times when you didn't have the internet and sometimes you could think that you're looking up something and you're like, no, you looked stuff up in an encyclopedia. That's what you had, an encyclopedia to look stuff up in, right? But sometimes it's weird. I can have a memory of the past, and sometimes it will seem like I look something up on the internet, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. No, we didn't have the internet. You didn't look stuff up on the internet then. But it's like, wow, right? Do you remember everything had to be like mail order? So you had to wait for the catalogs, and it wasn't like online. So you had to order it from a catalog. And even if you called it in, you had to wait for the catalog to come in the mail. It was all, yeah, it's crazy. You want a baby? You never get your way, Darla. Oh, no. Soon enough, right? Yeah. Right now, let's see here. Just like when, trying to think. What did I think? I'm trying to remember, like, and I was like, there's no internet. But yeah, the encyclopedias. I remember finding Cookie Monster in the encyclopedia. I couldn't believe it. Oh, Cookie Monster's in the encyclopedia. Oh, your sister and you played a game with the Sears catalog where on one page I picked what I wanted first, then her. Then on the next page, she got to go first. Well, my sister and I, yes, I remember developing film, and let me tell you, my daughter does it now. My daughter likes to shoot with vintage cameras. Would you believe that? In fact, when I was going through things, I found one of my Minolta film cameras, and I said to her, she was here, I said, do you want this Minolta camera? She had nearly like catapulted out of the couch to come and get it. Couldn't believe it. Was like freaking out as if I gave her the greatest thing possible because, yeah, she likes to shoot with film cameras. I don't understand it, but... And she has a really nice Canon mirrorless camera, just like one of the ones I have, and yet she's always using a film camera now. But what you wanted a dressing table, so your dad made you one, and he made a wooden doll wardrobe. That's lovely, Linda. Good memories, and I'm glad you still have them. It's wonderful. Probably really well made. Yeah, vintage cameras. Yeah, my daughter loves them. I got her also the lighting meter and everything. Yeah. She loves the vintage camera stuff. So interesting. What was I going to say? Something important. Oh yeah, we used to play a game with the Sears catalog. This was going to tell you. But the big Sears catalog, remember the one that came without the toys? Come fall, winter. My sister would open a page and she'd say, which one's mommy? And I'd have to pick the one that looks most like my mother. And we'd go through page after page like that. For I don't know how long. Isn't that crazy? That was like really exciting. Anytime you went to the melting pot, you sat at a booth. Okay. I would get excited to get my pictures usually in the mail. Yeah, and then a lot of times it was disappointing if they didn't come out right, or it's, now we've got like the instant gratification, right? Headed to bed, everyone. I'm sorry about the misunderstanding. 2 Kansas City lights. Let's just start fresh, right? Life is too short to be worried about a misunderstanding. Let's start fresh and move on, move past it. Take care and good night. Good night to you, Kansas City, and a Happy New Year. Yeah, that is so cute. Carolyn, the game, yeah. It was funny, and then sometimes like none of them would look like at all, even remotely, but you'd pick the one that was like the closest. It was so ridiculous. That we would do that, and oh, Linda, look at what I have here. Remember him, Linda? Snoopy Detective. Linda got me the Snoopy Detective when she came up, not this summer, but the summer before that. Snoopy Detective. Private Eye Snoopy. When was he a detective, in what Peanuts movie? I don't know. I don't know which one it was. Yeah, Private Eye Snoopy. I wonder does anybody remember what movie where Snoopy was a detective? You played outside all the time, and you had paper doll books. Yeah, paper doll books, color forms. Playing outside, yeah, you played outside till we had the 6 o'clock whistle. We didn't have street lights where I grew up in New Jersey. We didn't have sidewalks. We didn't have street lights. But there was a 6 o'clock whistle. And when the 6 o'clock whistle came, everybody just went home for dinner. But we all played in the cul-de-sac, kickball and stuff, and all. Yeah, rode bikes, everything. Different times, and do we all think that the times we grew up were the best? Is that how everybody thinks? I don't know. I don't know. Gia called me before. They're in the Caribbean, and I'm blessed. I really am. I'm blessed with a daughter-in-law to be that her and I really like each other, like very much. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not forced. It's not like, oh gosh, I've got to call your mother. No, she calls me all the time just to talk. Not because of any kind of obligation, or really wants to do things, and we really have a good time together, and that's a blessing. It is. Like, I would never be the type that would I mean, unless somebody was like dangerous for my son or something, but I would never be a mother that's like, if my son really loved a girl and we just didn't click, that I would be like, oh my gosh, and make trouble. I wouldn't be that kind. But yes, I feel very blessed that we get along really well, you know what I mean? And really like to do things with each other. And sometimes she has like more things in common with me. Like we're very, like she always says, we're very alike. She always tells Michael, like, I'm so much like your mother. But she does. She likes a lot of the things that I like. And it's for real, it's not like, so it's funny. But, yeah, we have a fun time. And she laughs. She laughs all the time. It's very hard that you would ever be in a bad mood around Gia because she laughs all the time. So, yeah. All the kids played outside in the summer till 9 p.m. Hide and seek, yeah, flashlight tag. My cousin, she lived in East Brunswick, New Jersey. So we used to go there, and then like for whatever we're having, she's like, "Oh, we have to go outside. We have to play flashlight tag and this tag." And she was always outside with the guy she ended up marrying, that she knew. Her. It's funny, But yeah. We couldn't go get Ethan today. Ethan's still in the city. Ow. Ow. He was supposed to come home today, but we had ice rain. And I said, look, I don't want to take a chance going down in ice rain because you're not driving anywhere in ice, okay? It's not like, oh, I have good tires, this and that. No. If it's black ice, you could get killed easily. Either that, or even if you're able to take it, there's like certain areas of the highway that are notorious for like massive car pileups in black ice. In fact, when Alexandra and Freeman were really, really little, we had to pull over, and it was like every car was stopped on the highway. We were trying to go down to New Jersey, and we had to pull off, and everybody had to get into these hotels. I remember that was before cell phones. I was at a convenience store, like calling my parents and telling them the roads are too bad, we can't do it, we've got to stay here at a hotel. Yeah, it was crazy. And then everybody was in the hotel, but nothing was open because there was it was just, they were trying to get Chinese food from places. It was crazy. I love your mother-in-law dearly. We were friends, and I was the one with her when she passed. Yeah, that's good. When, yeah, definitely. But there's so many people that, don't. What is he doing in the city? He's been in the city since the 28th. He stayed with my daughter for a bit. He's got a lot. He's got about 3 or 4 friends from college that live in Manhattan. One lives in Brooklyn, and so he's been having a good time, like during the day. Then he was going back to my daughter's at night, or then sometimes he was hanging with her and stuff. So he likes the city a lot. Where Luke is more like, the city's nice to visit, but I don't want to live there. Depression, cooking, yes. That woman was in her 90s. What was her name? Because I used to watch her too. And then there was that other Italian lady. She made the sauce and everything. My daughter liked to watch that. Yep, she sure did. But I have to get him back because he's got some things to take care of, like with his truck and stuff, with maintenance before he goes back to school, and that's coming up. Clara. Okay, yeah, I remember that. But then there's that other woman that known as something. I think she's. Um, yeah, trying to think. Um, well, we watched a. I'll tell you what we watched last night. We had a member movie night. We watched a documentary from, and I read it before we went off to watch it, and it was about this Indian woman, Indian descent, but grew up in Switzerland. Beautiful, beautiful woman, absolutely beautiful. Called her name was Annie, and she married this guy that she knew for a year. Also, he was in Switzerland, and they went to Cape Town, South Africa, for their honeymoon. And then on the honeymoon, she was killed. And, you know, her father was like, oh my gosh, his father and the sister caught a flight right over. They found out at first that she was kidnapped. That this is what the father thought when he was going there. And he thought, okay, well, they kidnapped her. They're just going to want money, is what his brother told him. So he was sure that he would get her back, you know. And then they started to find out that there was more to this. Something didn't seem right. And so, yeah, we watched that. And then, you know, I don't want to spoil it for anyone that wants to watch it. But it is ANNI, and then it's the Honeymoon Murders. Honeymoon Murder, I'm sorry. So, and I know that Twisted had made it in last night. And so, and then Gail, Linda was there. She watched most of it. I don't know if Jen Grill made it through that. But it was a multi-part documentary. I don't know if anybody's watched it. It was on HBO Max. Yeah, Linda. Yeah, it ended up, but he got away with it. He got away with it. Like I don't get it. And the family is like, you know, why did he do it first of all? But how the freak did he get away with it? Yeah, he got away with it. I want to look at what he's doing now. I'm going to look him up right now and see what he's doing. Because then they found out he might not even like girls, but why would he get like? Then somebody surmised that she may have found out that he was gay and he had to do this. And then there was this big guy. They found out that he was involved with. Let me see. Shrin Dewani. Shrin Dewani. That's the guy's name. Let me see. According to his LinkedIn profile, let's see where he is. This was them. Uh-oh. Come here. Okay. And this happened back in 2010. And she was a 28-year-old engineer. He was a businessman. They married in a grand wedding celebration in India just days before her murder. It was November 13th of 2010. Where is Shrin now? After being acquitted of Annie's murder, he's kept a low profile both in public and on social media. According to his LinkedIn profile, he's based in London, where he's the director of Uvalde Care Group, a nursing and care home. Company has 8 branches around the UK. He sporadically posts on his account about his business as well as his blog. I'm looking at his blog here, My Thoughts Unedited. Did he ever marry or... About. Let's see what's this about. My name is Shrin Dewani. My life experiences have shaped me in a way not many people will ever have the opportunity to experience. I've used that experience to drive my stewardship of my organization, of the community that I'm privileged to lead, to ensure that my true world views and values are tuned into a reality. Okay. Nothing about... let's see what else he's got. He's 45 years old now. He allegedly masked his homosexuality by marrying Annie. Her father said he kept his gay secret from my daughter and from her family. How could he have had it in his heart to do that? It was an utter disgrace. Let's see. And then the article asks if they think, the people that are reading this, think that Shrin orchestrated Annie's death. And here's some of the comments. How can he just be allowed to continue life as normal after what he did? Why would 2 men from a very poor neighborhood lie in wait for rich tourists to visit the area at night? Most people already knew not to go there, even during the day. Why would Annie ask to be taken there? Yes, I think he's guilty. He was trying to hide his homosexuality. Guilty as hell. I think he's guilty, someone said. If someone surprises you with a trip to South Africa, do not go, run. Because apparently it's very easy to find people there who will kill someone for less than $1,000. The police are incompetent, and the justice system is an absolute joke. I have never been less interested in visiting a country after learning about this story. I feel so incredibly sorry for her poor parents and family. Shrin Dewani is 100% guilty and a psychopath who will likely never feel any remorse. Okay. Someone said, when this incident occurred, I told my wife that it was a hit, orchestrated by Shrin. That was before anyone was arrested. Alive, she was worth a lot more to them, and they certainly wouldn't have left him alive if they intended to kill her. Send him back to Cape Town. Release him in the street where Annie was found and advise the locals. They will carry out justice for the family. Someone said he is a murderer and he married her while he was screwing around with some other guy. There is no doubt he was guilty. He paid off the judiciary. Utter nonsense about insufficient evidence. Shrin Dewani is a murderer like O.J. Simpson. Got away with it. Disgusting human may... There's a special place, yeah. He did it just like O.J. did it. While the wife's father was in the hotel lobby waiting for information from the police, he was on a guy's website checking out men. Does that seem normal to you? All seems dubious. How did he become a suspect in the first place? Strange. Well, it wasn't so strange if you watched. As the FBI says, it's usually the spouse, which was why he was released from the car and didn't fight back to... Why was he released from the car and didn't fight back to save his wife? He definitely did it. So the consensus is that anybody that's followed the case says he definitely did it. And, I mean, everything matched up from what I was seeing that he did this. So, yeah. Yeah. Juror, what happened? Okay, good night, Denise. I wouldn't trust his business. Yeah. So that was that, but yeah. So we watched that last night, and then there was another one that started to come on where some other guy, it's a gray-haired guy, and it was like he met somebody on Match.com, but I didn't get to fully watch that. I don't know what that was about. It looked like another murder or something. I don't know. Came on right after that one, so I'm not sure what that one was. Yeah. Yep. And jurors get it wrong sometimes. Yeah, but I think I have to go watch that part again. I might have fallen asleep a little bit on that part. A little bit. And I'd have to rewatch it. But, yeah, 62 hit the likes. 64 hit the likes. Please. But yeah, that was weird. And then somebody told, okay, then there's that other Jody Hildebrandt documentary that Binky said she watched on, I believe it's Netflix. But then people are saying there's only 2 new things in there, and the rest of it is just the other stuff. I don't know. I haven't really heard of a lot of other really good things or not, but that's what I got there. Netflix has good documentaries. Yeah, it usually does, Linda. Usually does. HBO will have some good ones too, and then sometimes Hulu, sometimes Hulu. And I also heard about, Gypsy Rose. A lot of videos are coming out, surfacing like last month, about that she sent to Nicholas Godejohn that I guess before were never public. They were used in the trial, but they were never public. And then I guess people are going and carrying on that Bree, kind of like the spokesperson for her, was apparently arrested for, was it methamphetamines and stuff? And that Gypsy admits she's been wearing wigs. Like, okay, like that's a big deal. But I don't know what else is going on. They had I don't know what that is. What else? Trying to think. Whose trial is coming up this summer that we're waiting to see? Is it the Mormon? One of the Mormon ones? Oh yeah, the Stampin' Up lady. I wonder how that's going. I wonder if she'll take a plea deal or something. I don't know. I don't know if she will. Maybe, maybe not. And so tomorrow we'll see with Uvalde what happens. Who thinks there's going to be a mistrial, or they'll work it out, or do you think there'll be a mistrial? I don't know. Let me just take a look at what's going on, because I didn't really take a look at stuff. You know, like stuff. Like other stuff, not just true crime. Because we don't just live by true crime alone. Let's just see what other stuff is going on. They have some couple that apparently, where they found dead in a RV or something, leaving behind Oksana Bayul. Wow, I used to always like her. What happened to her? Oh, I can't believe how old Oksana Bayul is now. Isn't that crazy? She is, well, there her daughter is very small. Why does that keep happening? Please, mother. Why does that keep happening? I don't know. It splits the screen for me. I don't want to split the screen. Hold on. No. Come on, get over there. Please. But that little girl is like 10 now. It says Ukrainian figure skating legend Oksana Bayul is breaking her silence after the news broke that she gave up custody of her 10-year-old daughter after her divorce from her ex-husband and manager, Carlo Farina. She said, and I quote, "As I'm sure anyone who has ever been through a separation or divorce knows, it's a lengthy and often devastating journey. Divorce is hard enough, but when there is a child involved, they must be the priority. As a mother, I ask that you please respect our privacy at this time as we move forward, building our new future." On January 5th, it was reported that Oksana and Farina, who were married for 13 years, informed the court of a deal they reached that worked out custody, support, and the division of their property. Farina was awarded primary custody and is allowed to move from the couple's previous home in Louisiana to Las Vegas with their daughter Sophia. Oksana also previously announced her intention to move to Las Vegas after selling the couple's home, and the agreement says visitation between Oksana and her daughter can be arranged if Sophia agrees to it. Oksana has been open about struggling with alcoholism in the past. She also agreed to enroll in anger management classes and undergo alcohol and drug tests to ensure she is remaining sober. She first announced her divorce back in August via Facebook post. Dear extended family and friends, I'm expressing myself to you this morning regarding my personal circumstances. My husband and I are divorcing. I'm asking for prayers, and I'm praying for hashtag Sophia Biofarina and then hashtag sobriety. In God's hands, no thank you for my lesson. She rose to fame as the 93 World Figure Skating Champion and the 94 Olympic gold medalist in ladies singles. Oh, that's sad that they're going through that, but I hope that work this out. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh. Oh, yeah, that other thing, the brown gunman, apparently they're saying that he expressed no remorse in videos, and there's transcripts and things, but I still wonder why we have not seen a video of him going into that home. Helicopter crashed into a slack line in Arizona, killing all passengers. Wow. And then there was a 5.0 quake hammering 2 states as the USGS warns bigger shocks could strike. Oh, Michael Reagan, son of former President Ronald Reagan, has died. Let's see. Wicked star Brett, Shepard, I think it died at 46. Let's see. An endangered giraffe was killed in a freak accident at a South Carolina zoo. Ugh. A dad of 3 was shot and killed in a Target parking lot over a parking spot. Let's see where that happened. Get Come on now. There we go. Let's see what happened here. Matthew Treywick. Let's see what state this happened in. Georgia. There was an argument over a parking space at a Savannah, Georgia Target. Allegedly led to a fatal shooting that left a father of 3 dead. Matthew Treywick. Tyler Lynn, Linn, has been charged with murder and aggravated assault in connection with the shooting. The father of 3 was fatally shot after there was an alleged fight over a parking space at the Target in Georgia. Savannah Police Department said it responded to the report On Sunday, January 4th, the victim suffered multiple gunshot wounds and was pronounced dead at the hospital. The shooter was Tyler Lynn, 30 years old, subsequently arrested and charged with murder and aggravated assault. Wow, terrible. GoFundMe has been started to benefit Trewick's wife and 3 children and has raised over $85,000. Now, reportedly, Lynn is an Army veteran who served from 2015 to 2023. That's the shooter. Wow. And it looks like, yeah, there were very young children that he leaves behind there. Terrible. Over a parking spot. Parking spot. Really. What the heck is wrong with people, right? It's crazy. Cause of death revealed for the much-loved couple found dead in their RV at a cider festival. Oh, well. Newlywed bride killed by a truck moments after she survived a car crash. Oh my gosh. That's horrible. Oh, Mickey Rourke, there's a big controversy. Mickey Rourke came out and said like he didn't know about the GoFundMe, and then the people that organized it said no, that's not true, and they're going back and forth about it. Wow, a Shark Tank contestant accused of murdering teen girls with, what did she murder them with? Hang on. Poisoned raspberries. Get out of here. What the heck? That's the woman. That's Zulma Guzman Castro, 54. She appeared on Shark Tank Colombia in 2021. She is accused of lacing and sending poisoned chocolate-covered raspberries to murder. Hold on a minute. Who did she murder now? And the horrific deaths of 14-year-old Ines and 13-year-old Amelia in Bogota in April. She wanted to murder Ines's father, who she had secretly been seeing for years, but had recently broken up with. But the little girls ended up eating the berries. Oh my gosh, that sounds like that Stephen King thing with the pie. Both of the teenagers died 4 days after they ate the deadly treat, which had been laced with tasteless, odorless thallium poisoning. Another teen girl was left with life-altering injuries from the poisoning, while a 21-year-old brother of one of the victims was also hospitalized. Oh, that's terrible. Now, the woman was a carpool business founder who appeared on the Colombia version of Shark Tank in 2021. She's believed to have fled the country April 13th, less than a week after the girls died. And she arrived in the UK sometime in November. Already a suspect, she went on the airwaves in December for an interview in which she denied the allegations against her, claiming the murders were being pinned on her because of her affair. and it made her an easy mark. The father of Amelia paid tribute to his daughter in August on what would have been her 14th birthday, saying, "Daughter, you will always be the greatest love I as a father can ever feel. There is no girlfriend or wife that can generate the love that I had when I had you, and with this love I will go until the last day of my life. I love you and I will love you for the rest of my life. I cry for the stories we won't be able to live. I appreciate who you were and what you taught me. You were and will be the cutest thing I had in my life." That's crazy. Oh. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anything else here. Let's see. Not too much there, Jennifer. All right, let's see what about we got here. Let's check this one out, and then we are... Mickey Rourke's latest crisis leads to... Yeah, but they said there was something down. Now, a doctor and a woman found dead and apparent... Where is this? Murder-suicide. Where is this? Coconut Creek? Wow. A doctor and a woman were found dead at their Coconut Creek home on Monday. I feel like this is a repeat of last year. I really feel bad deja vu in this one. I'll put that there. So it says the 34-year-old doctor, Jean Dominique Foreo, and his romantic partner, a 38-year-old woman, the woman's name not being released. Doctor and the woman were found dead at their Coconut Creek home, an apparent murder-suicide. The two were not married. They did have a child at the time of the incident. Where's the child? Online records show that the doctor was a chief resident at Broward Health Emergency Medicine, and he was a battalion surgeon for the Florida Army National Guard. Wow, I don't know. Let's see here. Young missing woman found alive after disappearing 3. Woman 69. Fractures her elbow in Central Park attack. When did that happen? Late last year. 10-year-old boy may be the person. Wow. Oh, and you know what they had on today on Discovery? Something about Andrea Yates and the cult that was behind the murders. And I just wanted to see what cult that was. that's behind the murders. I remember having at the time, I think it was like the audio book. I don't know who wrote that. I forget who wrote it, but it was Andrea Yates. I remember buying and listening to it on a road trip. Let me see, by myself. I didn't check my phone with that. Diddy video saying he had no idea. Yeah, but they also said the people that there's called BS on that. So it's so weird. Okay, let's see now. Let me go and just see what cult was behind that, Andrea Yates. But there is an ID Discovery something or other I was on. It was on while I was talking to Gia, but I had the sound off. Cult behind. Okay, let's see the cult behind. It's Investigation Discovery, right? Let's see what's going on. What's the cult? So let's see, there it goes. Okay. So more than 20 years after one of the most disturbing crimes in American history, the case of Andrea Yates, who drowned her 5 children in the family's bathtub, is revisited. And the cult behind the killer, the Andrea Yates story. It's a 3-part ID docuseries. It's available on HBO Max beginning on January 6th. And that's weird because Jimmy had that on the TV. So did he have the Max on there? Because it was on there. Re-examines the story through court records and medical history. It places particular emphasis on the belief system the Yates family subscribed to leading up to the tragedy. The series includes the participation of Rusty Yates, Andrea's former husband, as well as former followers of a preacher named Michael Warrenecki. I've heard that name before. They describe a set of teachings informed by rigid doctrine, fear, and isolation, which they claim might have intensified Andrea's mental illness long before the crime occurred. The filmmakers attempted to reach out to Warrenecki, who has said that he is not to blame for Andrea's actions, and his wife, Rachel Warrenecki, neither of whom responded for requests for participation. On June 20th, 2001, in the Houston suburb of Clear Lake, Andrea Yates drowned her 5 children, Noah, John, Paul, Luke, and Mary, in the family bathtub. The children ranged in age from 6 months to 7 years. After doing so, she calmly told officers, "I killed my kids." Inside the house, one child was found in the bathtub while the others were laid out under a sheet in the master bedroom. She acted alone. Okay, let me see. A life defined by discipline and achievement. Andrea was born Andrea Kennedy on July 2nd, 1964. That's weird. 64, so she wasn't. Okay, wait a second. Was she 37 when she did that? Yeah. She was 37. She wasn't that. Okay. Let's see. This apparently is her as a bride. Hey. Uh-oh, what happened to your picture? It got over there. Come on. She was the youngest of 5. Her husband describes it as a stable household. She performed well academically. She graduated as valedictorian, earning a nursing degree. I probably knew all this when I was listening to that book, but it's been so long. 1986, she worked for several years as a registered nurse at a cancer treatment center. She met Rusty Russell Yates in 89. Okay. So she was 25 when she met him. The couple married in 93. They married in 93, so what did I just say? She was almost 30 years old when she got married. I don't know. I thought she was much younger. And Andrea soon left her profession to devote fully to family life and motherhood. Between 94 and 2000, 6 years, they had 5 children. Rusty was a follower of Wernicke, who regularly traveled to college campuses and large events to spread his teachings, which would profoundly shape the Yates family worldview. A huge part of the teachings were the impending doom of Judgment Day. Fear permeated daily life. And they were mailed cassette tapes. Now, Rusty said his siblings and he were born into it, and unless you're in it, you don't fully understand the amount of control that Michael Wernicke had over us. The preacher would go on college campuses with a large banner that said, "You're going to hell." He referred to himself as an ambassador of Christ. Andrea's mental health began to severely deteriorate after the birth of her children in 99. Following the birth of Luke, Rusty recalled a disturbing incident. We were still at Andrea's mother's house, and Andrea walked off. I opened the bathroom door. She's standing there looking at herself in the mirror with a knife up to her neck. She just stood there, catatonic. Wow. Michael Wernicke's connection to Yates. Where is she now? Let's see. She was retried in 2006, initially placed in high security psychiatric facility, later transferred to the Kerrville State Hospital, a maximum security psychiatric center, where she remains. Andrea is eligible for periodic reviews regarding her confinement, but has consistently declined to seek release, choosing to remain under psychiatric care. So yeah, I guess you can watch that on HBO. I don't know, it was really weird. They were showing a lot about teachings there. Let's see here now. Okay, let me go to, we're going to do the Word puzzle. That one had a bad. I've got a headache. I'm tired. Okay. Can't believe it's January 7th. I'm not worried about this month going fast, but for some stuff I am. Take. My stomach is grumbling because I'm hungry. Ape ate and had pet. Okay. Really? Okay. And then what do we have here? Date. So data, right? Data. Okay, and then data. Dated. Adapt. Okay. This one, let's see if you guys have anything on this one. Pete? No, it can't be. It's got to have an A. Do you have one there? Did anybody come up with an A one there? No. It's got to be an A or a D. D, A, date, D, A. Okay, that would be A, gosh, what was that? Scared me. Oh, there you go. All right. Good, good, good. Elvis Presley Jailhouse Rock Cake. What? I saw that and I'm hungry and that's not good. All right, let me see where you guys are. Diddly 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 do. Where the heck? Can't find you guys now. That's not nice. Hold on, I'm trying to find you guys. I don't know where you went. You left me. Oh, must be here. Hold on a minute. I don't know which one. I can't find it. Okay. Let's see if this is the one. Hello, everybody. Okay. Linda, Uribe, good night, sweetie. Have a good night. Sweet dreams. I'll see you all. I've got to figure out where I get this off. One of mine goes here, but thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Good night. Let me see. I'm going to figure out how to shut this down.